Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Reading with Leon. We are going to read The Very Best Christmas Present by Jim Razzi and illustrated by Henry Fernandez. This is one of the golden books. I've had a couple of those already, and so I hope you guys enjoy it. The illustrations look so good. I love good illustrations. Let's see here. One snowy morning, a few weeks before Christmas, Mr. Flugel's doorbell rang. Ding dong! It was the mail carrier. He had a big orange cat in his arms. "Is this your cat?" asked the mail carrier. "I found it in your mailbox." "No," said Mr. Flugel. "I live alone, and furthermore, I don't like cats." "Meow," said the cat, looking cold and sad. "I can't keep it," said the mail carrier. "Oh, bother," said Mr. Flugel. Then he looked at the cat. "Meow," the cat said, looking back with big yellow eyes. "Well, I guess I can keep it for today," said Mr. Flugel, "but tomorrow it must go." Excuse me, little tickle. I love orange kitties and black kitties. I love all kitties. Do you think Mr. Flugel's going to end up falling in love with the kitty and keeping it? I hope so. People that live alone should have a pet of some kind to keep them company. Mr. Flugel took the cat in and gave it a saucer of milk. Not a good idea to give cats milk, actually. It gives them diarrhea. Then he went about his chores. "Meow," said the cat as Mr. Flugel washed the dishes. "It's no use trying to talk to me," said Mr. Flugel. "I don't like cats." So the cat kept quiet and just watched. Mr. Flugel whistled while he did the dishes. "That's funny," he said to himself. "I haven't whistled in years." The day passed, and it was time to go to bed. The cat curled up beside Mr. Flugel and said, "Meow." "It's no use trying to talk to me," said Mr. Flugel. "I don't like cats." The purring put Mr. Flugel to sleep as soon as he closed his eyes. Seems like he likes the kitty. Fingers crossed. The next morning, Mr. Flugel took the cat out in his car and drove to the dairy farm nearby. "This is where I will leave you. You'll like it here," Mr. Flugel said. "I just don't like cats," Mr. Flugel said to himself as he drove away. Mr. Flugel went to bed that night and said, "That's that." But the next morning, very early, the doorbell rang. Ding dong! It was the dairy farmer. He had a big orange cat in his arms. "Is this your cat?" asked the dairy farmer. "I found it in one of my empty milk cans." Let's see here. "No," said Mr. Flugel, who was surprised to see the cat again. "I don't like cats." "Meow," said the cat, looking hopeful. "I can't keep it," said the dairy farmer. "Oh, bother," said Mr. Flugel. Then he looked at the cat. The cat looked back and purred. "Well, I suppose I can keep it for today," said Mr. Flugel with a sigh. "But tomorrow it must go." Mr. Flugel took the cat in and gave it a scrambled egg for breakfast. That's a good breakfast. Then he sat in his chair. "Meow," said the cat as it played with Mr. Flugel's robe. "It's no use trying to play with me," said Mr. Flugel. "I don't like cats." So the cat just played with a piece of paper as Mr. Flugel watched. "Silly cat," he said to himself. The next day, Mr. Flugel took the cat out in the car again. "I'll take you far away this time so you won't come back," he said. Mr. Flugel drove and drove until he came to a flying school. There were several other cats around. "You'll have plenty of company here," said Mr. Flugel. "Meow." "No, you can't stay with me," answered Mr. Flugel. "I told you I don't like cats." Mr. Flugel left the cat at the flying school and drove home. "That's that," he said. The next morning, while Mr. Flugel was working on his house, someone jumped right onto his roof. It was a skydiver. She had a big orange cat in her arms. "Is this your cat?" asked the skydiver. "It jumped right out of the plane with me as we flew over your house." "Think the cat has claimed Mr. Flugel as his human." "No," said Mr. Flugel, rolling his eyes. "It's not my cat. It never was my cat, and I don't want it to be my cat." "Well, I can't keep it," said the skydiver. "And anyway, it seems to like you." "Meow," said the cat, looking at Mr. Flugel lovingly. "Oh, bother," said Mr. Flugel with a sigh. "Excuse me." "Well, I guess I'll have to keep you for today," he said. "But tomorrow you must go for good." Mr. Flugel went back to his work. "Meow," said the cat, laying in the sun. "Oh, really?" said Mr. Flugel. "Well, I didn't miss you." "Meow," said the cat softly. "Stuff and nonsense," said Mr. Flugel. "He's starting to talk to the kitty. That means you're his human." The next morning, Mr. Flugel looked at the cat and said, "I really must get rid of you today. You know I don't like cats." He thought and thought about what to do. All of a sudden, Mr. Flugel had the best idea of all. "Since you were found in my mailbox, I will let the post office take care of it." That very same day, Mr. Flugel took the cat to the post office. "I want to mail this cat somewhere far, far away," he said to the postal clerk. "How about the North Pole?" said the postal clerk. "That's far, far away, and we have a nice, warm post office there." Poor kitty. Mr. Flugel looked down at the cat. The cat reached up and licked his face. "Stuff and nonsense," said Mr. Flugel as he wiped off the kiss. Then, without knowing why, he suddenly asked, "Will they take good care of it at the North Pole Post Office?" "Of course," answered the postal clerk, looking offended. "We always take good care of the mail, especially at Christmas time." And without another word, he took the cat into the package room. The next day, the cat did not come back. It did not come back the day after, or the day after that. "Well, I guess that's that," said Mr. Flugel as he washed the dishes. He tried to whistle, but nothing came out. More days passed, and still the cat did not come back. "Well," Mr. Flugel said a little quietly, "I guess that's that." He climbed into bed, but for some reason he just couldn't sleep. Did I show you the picture? I can't remember. "Stuff and nonsense," he murmured. "I'm just not tired." Now, it so happened that the next day was Christmas Eve. Mr. Flugel watched from his window as people hurried to and fro. Their arms were full of presents. "Stuff and nonsense," he sniffed. Mr. Flugel didn't have any friends, so he never expected any presents for Christmas. That's so sad. Just then, for no good reason, he thought of the cat. "I wonder what that silly cat is doing now," he mused as he sat in his chair. "It's a good thing I don't like cats," he said to himself, "or I might miss it." think he's missing the kitty cat? Just before midnight, Mr. Flugel went to bed, but when he got under the covers, he tossed and turned and couldn't get to sleep. When he finally did go to sleep, he started to dream. He dreamed that he was doing his chores and the cat was watching him. He dreamed that he was sitting in his chair and the cat was playing with his robe. He dreamed that he was in bed and the cat was purring beside him. He smiled to himself and reached over to pet it. Then he woke up and remembered that the cat was gone. All of a sudden, he was very sad and lonely. Stuff and nonsense, he whispered as he laid his head upon his pillow. I don't even like cats. Just then, someone rang his doorbell. He ran down to answer it. Do you think it's the kitty? Did the kitty finally come home? Oh, excuse me. It was Santa Claus. Santa Claus rang the doorbell? He had a big orange cat in his arms. Is this your cat? Asked Santa. I found it hiding in my sled at the North Pole. Mr. Flugel had been so used to saying no that he almost said it again. But he suddenly cried, Yes, yes, it is my cat. Meow, said the cat. I'm glad you're back too, said Mr. Flugel, stroking the cat's soft fur. But then Mr. Flugel turned to Santa. But how did you know it was my cat? He asked. Instead of answering, Santa just gave Mr. Flugel a wink and a nod and hopped into his sled. Mr. Flugel waved goodbye to Santa's sled. Mr. Flugel said goodbye as Santa's sled disappeared over the treetops. Meow, said the cat. I missed you too, said Mr. Flugel. Meow. Merry Christmas to you too, answered Mr. Flugel as he gave his cat a big hug. You're the best Christmas present I could ever want. The end. Yay, I'm so glad for Mr. Flugel. Do you guys like cats or dogs, or what's your favorite animal that you would want as a pet? Let me know and have a great day. Bye.